Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Let's Chat. And today I'm talking with Nadine Hanchar. And Nadine is a counselor, consultant, speaker, and a trainer since 1986. She specializes in working with trauma, abuse, relationship issues, and communication. Instead of the client having to fit the therapeutic tool, Nadine is using an approach which can include many types of traditional and non-traditional methodologies. Therefore, the therapy is designed to fit you, the client. Her results-oriented approach is designed to resolve the root causes of issues. This allows the person, couple, family, or organization to go forward with a better quality of life. Nadine is certified and has methodology in the following. She's a certified counselor in private practice, a certified master trainer in NLP, a certified master practitioner in counseling applications of NLP, a certified master timeline therapy practitioner, a certified hypnotherapist, a certified hypnotherapy trainer, American Institute of Hypnotherapy, and a certified iridologist and nutritionalist. Well, welcome, my dear.
Thank you for having me, Brenda.
So our question today is going to be codependence. What does it look like? So let's have a discussion on that.
Okay. Well, codependence is when a person is sort of giving up all of their needs, their wants, their desires, trying to please the other person all the time, where they often will give up their friendships, they'll give up, their hobbies, their interests, and become very, very restricted, I guess, in their life in a lot of ways, by trying to please the other person. And basically, one of the things that I say to people is my good feelings about me are dependent on your good feelings about me. Right?
Okay.
So there's a joke. I'll tell you a joke.
Okay.
It's a codependency joke. So the codependent person has a near-death experience. And the other person said, well, what happened? And they said, well, someone else's life passed before my eyes.
Very good, very good.
So maybe that's an inappropriate thing to do on this segment, but I think that what you have to realize is that you're not living your life or your passion or doing the things that are best for you when you're in a codependent relationship. And, people used to think it was just because people who had alcoholic parents or people that had, drug addict parents or things like that. But codependency is more, it can happen for a lot of different reasons. And to me, codependency is actually a stage of development. When you think about it, we come into this world, we're totally dependent on our parents. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, totally dependent. We can't do anything without them. As we grow up a little further, when we get into the toddler stage, we're looking to our parents for, am I okay?
Yeah.
You tie your shoe and what do? You look at your parent, you say, did I do it right?
Yeah.
So you're looking for cues, and to me, that's the codependent stage. And then as we get into the teenage stage, we usually move into more of an independent stage. It's like, we learn how to, if our parents have one opinion, we have a different opinion. And quite often it's the opposite for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that phase.
Anyone who has kids remembers that stage.
That's true.
And then it moves into more of what I call a co-independent stage, where if you're continuing on in a healthy progression, you get into that stage where you're with people because you want to be with people, and it's a give and take relationship. And then, you can go into what we call a co-interdependent stage, which is where we understand that we're also, all on the same planet and need to look after it, and all of those kinds of things. And the thing is that you can be in different stages at different times, and people who are codependent get stuck emotionally in the codependent stage. So they might physically move into independence and physically be taking care of themselves and but emotionally they're still looking outside themselves for, approval. They're still looking outside of themselves to see if they're okay. They're still trying to please people. They're still trying to, um, now there's two sides to codependency.
Right.
One side is the need to be needed. And the need to be needed person often looks like an overachiever. They look like they've got it all together. They look like, things are going well. And yet they're not actually respecting themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're not actually, doing what they need to do. Again, they're putting other people's needs ahead of their own. They're the fixer, the pleaser, that person. And then there's the flip side of the coin, which is the needy person. And, they're not taking responsibility for themselves either. They're looking for other people to do that, or for their partner to do that. And both sides of that coin are both codependent.
So a question then. So, I mean, we talk about my past marriage in these segments in various forms. So which would be the codependent, him or myself? Because everything that he wanted to do, we had to do, even though I didn't like it. So if he wanted to go ice fishing, we had to go ice fishing. I mean, I really don't like ice fishing. I mean, it's great sport for those that do, but I didn't like it. If he wanted to go hunting, we had to go hunting, and I don't particularly like shooting animals, so I would start, because I was the spotter. So we're driving along, and if you see anything, let me know. And I would see things, and I would not tell them. And so who was the codependent and who wasn't in that relationship?
Okay, so who was the pleaser?
I would probably have to be the pleaser, because I went along with what he wanted to do, even though I tried to sabotage the hunting, because I like I say, I don't like hunting.
And
lots of people do it, but I'm not saying it. It's
who
not bad.
who was the needy person?
I would say he was the needy person, because he, I classify that as possessive, because if I was with him, then he knew where I was all the time, and then he never,
So sometimes the one that is in the control position is not necessarily the one that's the need to be needed person. The need to be needed person sometimes is the person that is the pleaser, right? So,
okay.
so sometimes somebody who's needy can be actually very controlling.
Yes, very controlling.
And this has to do with low self-esteem. Okay, so
On the needy person or on the codependent person?
both.
Both. I was about to say both, because I'm going back thinking, I wasn't very confident, and I didn't have a lot of self-esteem and that sort of stuff. So,
well, as the need to be needed person, you're trying to fix it. You're trying to make it okay. You're trying to, not upset him.
not
Right?
break those eggshells.
And exactly. And so even though it seems like you're being the submissive one, you're actually trying to fix things. Whereas he's being needy and demanding,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're being need to be needed and trying to fix it. So
Interesting. I never thought of myself in that role of needing to be needed and trying to fix it. Yeah.
well, in actual fact, in our society, the people that are actually the need to be needed people are often rewarded. So like in jobs, bosses can demand things of them, and they rise to the challenge, because they like to be needed. And they, they're looking outside of, again, both of these are looking outside of themselves for approval. They're looking outside to see, am I okay? So you can have a codependent relationship not only with a partner. You can have it in friendships, you can have it in family, with family members, you can have it with a boss and employee situation. So codependence can be, but it can be very debilitating in terms of if you're a need to be needed person and in a codependent relationship, it's a very lonely place. Yeah. Because you don't feel that you can ask for help, because you're the one that people come to for help. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. So you feel like you have to be strong all the time. You can feel alone in a crowd.
Very much so. You're describing me right now, sometimes.
And so that need to be needed is, again, it comes down to, we really need to learn how to get to know ourselves, because oftentimes the thing about the need to be needed is that you've lost track of who you are, you've lost track of what you like, you've lost track of who am I?
Yeah.
And so you need to get to know yourself again. You need to actually learn to love yourself, learn to know that you're good enough, that you don't need to prove anything to anybody, that your opinion matters more than anyone else's to you.
Yeah.
And learning how to truly do what's best for you, because when you truly do what's best for you, it's best for everyone, even if they don't like it. And that's something that's a difficult piece for a lot of people to learn.
Yeah. I know a codependence in a job that I had, that I worked in a very high end retail industry for a long time, and it was we need this store to be number one, and and I was, I can do that, and I would do whatever I had to do to make that store number one, and I was proud of myself for jumping to that challenge. But it was, I guess, that codependent relationship of you give me this and I can succeed it. And when I left the job, like, they were very upset that I was leaving, and I'm going, well, you'll just get somebody else who'll do this. But apparently they didn't. Mm-hmm. So I think I grew from all of that, and I grew and I learned how to be more confident in myself, even though it was that codependent relationship between a company and an employee or a manager, that I did grow, and I learned that I had all of these skills that I didn't know that I had. So it was a good thing that it happened, and it was a good thing that I left.
Well, everybody's journey is a little different.
Yeah.
And, I think that we always learn from every experience, even the worst ones. And sometimes we learn the most from the worst ones. And so, that doesn't always look like a bad thing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But
yeah.
Again, it's about, it's about what's happening inside of you in mm-hmm. terms of what, how do you feel about you? When nobody else is giving you kudos or praise, or do you still love yourself when you're just by yourself? And I guess that's the important piece there.
Yeah, I think we grow from all of our experiences, and we just have to figure out how to take the negative experiences and turn them into more of a fertilizer to grow ourselves, because what is fertilizer? Really, and you can turn lots of beautiful things out of that. So thank you very much, my dear, for that conversation today. And if anybody has any questions, please put it in the comments, and we will answer it in some of the following segments that we're doing. Please know that this is a knowledge only. This is not to replace any of your counseling or any therapy that you're presently in. So again, if you have questions that you want Nadine to answer, please put them in the comments, and we will be talking to you again soon. Thank you, Nadine, for everything.
Thank you for having me, Brenda.